And we are
Wow.
recording. We're
We are
recording.
recording. Oh, look, mate, big week.
You know what? It's really funny, Smithy. I'm sitting here thinking about it. It seems like yesterday we were here doing last month's newsletter video,
Yeah, I know.
and here we are again now. It's just gone by in a blink. But yeah,
It's
huge
true.
week last week. Obviously, National Volunteer Week. It was massive for everybody, and certainly no less important or busy for us too. So yeah, it's good to get a bit of a sit down and go, wow, that was awesome.
Well, it is, and you see all the information flowing in that compressed period of a week, right? But you got to ask yourself. Well, at least I'd ask a question of Firefly whether 1 week is really enough to support volunteers who are out there doing their thing 365 days a year, mate. So, my gut is we need to be celebrating action and providing attention to just the power of our volunteer workforce on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, look, you would think if we rationalise that and said volunteers in Australia only volunteer for a week, then that would be a different story, right? But they don't. They
I
don't wait
agree,
for a
mate.
week to jump in. They're there every day. Um, and look, it's one of the things that I know that I'm so proud of relative to our platform, Smithy, is that we've now got an opportunity to say, good job, thank you, we appreciate it. You're doing an awesome job every day. Yeah, we don't
And
have to
make it
wait
easy
for
for
it.
you all to do it, right? It's not a complex platform.
Mm.
It's pretty simple and it adds so much value. It's only going to get bigger and better, and we'll talk about that later. Because what we're doing today is an intro into our newsletter, and we've got a newsletter coming out which tries to encapsulate what's happening in our world, tries to celebrate those people that are actually in our world or doing amazing things out there in volunteering landscape. So one of the articles that I wanted to bring up today was our little one around Share Your Spare. It's funny what we have come up with. And when I say funny, it's not really funny, but it's funny to think that this thing could just be sitting there idle, right, for
Yeah.
a millennia in theory and never tapped into. Our network's got a fair bit of value in it. Could you give some examples of what sort of value it's got, mate, that we could use to, bring volunteers to the space?
Well, I mean, look, stepping aside from the obvious, because we've created a rewards and discount model to help say thank you to that. So we have a whole heap of local businesses, and for all our volunteers in the audience that are business owners as well, just take a minute to think about, we put something on the shelf and it's 100% retail and it doesn't move, and then it's 80% retail and it doesn't move, and then it's 50% retail, and we have this perpetual ongoing process of trying to move stock. And we obviously there's an abundance of that in the marketplace that says, really, would it be not better to have someone I really appreciate that? So just in that space, we looked at it and went, there's so much commodity that we've got that can
Yeah.
easily be a reward for somebody, to say thank you, to profile your brand. And again, it's all about there's a mechanic to profit lines and margins and marketing costs and all that sort of stuff. And you can all trust us. We've done the numbers, upside, downside, inside, outside, and I think relative to offering someone off the street an 80% discount on a product versus offering that as a reward or incentive can only enhance your brand. So there's that one for a start. But the other thing too that we realised, Smithy, is that a lot of our grassroots sporting clubs who are consistently in membership drives have memberships that they could
What
encourage
about
other
theatre
volunteers.
companies, mate? What about theatre companies?
Oh
There's
yeah,
so
look,
many avenues, right? It's the inward look. What do you have as an asset you can give to others that doesn't really cost you? So
yeah,
sorry for interjecting, but
no, no,
this
no,
is
no,
my
yeah,
passion, Wayne.
yeah. But and we're starting to now look at places like golf courses, for example, that have a membership that is of value, and everyone appreciates that. But when you look at the reality of that, it's a defined space. It's already set up. So the on cost to being able to share that opportunity for other volunteers to then play golf. Courtney just brought up one of my passions, which is local community theatre. They struggle every performance to get a full house. It's the epitome of success is when you have to have full house or no tickets or sold out. But the reality is that we always have spare. There's always an empty seat here or there. So to be able to then offer that to other members of the volunteering community, it enhances your brand. It enhances that community connection, And at the end of the day, it's really zero cost and zero impact. And then if you look at it from a pure commercial point of view,
my friend, if you're bringing volunteers inbound, you're getting the best members anyway, because you already know they're doing a great job somewhere else. So they're the ones you want to attract first if you want to bring volunteers to the table, inspire them and reward them. So that's really cool. We'll talk a little article about that. We could talk about that all day. It's as good as that. Everyone knows orgs have got assets. The market's got assets that can be deployed in our model super easily. We've got the framework for it. Got some big shout outs this month. A couple of new orgs. Lane Cove Toy Library. Thanks for coming on. That's awesome. Seems like toy libraries are in the fabric of this period. This month.
Both toy libraries and tool libraries, right? I mean, they're great. And they almost fit into the share you spare. They've looked at it and gone, you know, I've got surplus tools in my share. I've got surplus toys in the cupboard. And why not have them of value to somebody else?
Of course they can. Sell the op shops. They've got it as well. They're getting it from the community and then selling it. Volunteers are part of the community. I mean, it's just so obvious, but it's never been done. Blue Ocean, crazy size, billions of dollars of value that can be deployed to volunteers, and no one's done it. Amazing. The other one that came to mind, so Mount Barker Toy Library, huge, and then Camberwell Multi-Birth Association. Multi-Birth Association, crazy, mind blow for me. There's volunteer orgs out there doing stuff you'd never even consider. We've got those guys coming on board for each of their chapters or their clubs. How many people volunteer for Multi-Birth across Australia, Daryl?
And we both shared that. What the heck? There's actually an organisation that does that. We'll talk a little bit in a minute about our webinars and stuff, but we had one of the representatives join our webinar this week and talked about. So here's the thing, right? All of the volunteers for the Multi-Birth Association are all mums that have had a multiple birth, twins or triplets. So not only do they have the actual time constraints of looking after those little rugrats, they volunteer their time after that to then help other people look after their little rugrats. A great foundation. So when we talked about it, and we talked to Leander, who's a great shout out to Leander, who's an advocate and part of the South Australian Multiple Birth Association. I said, how many of you could possibly do that? And she went, well, we have 43 branches nationwide, and it averages about 40 volunteers. So like almost 1,600 women that have been through the process and give up their time to help others from pregnancy right through to bringing the kids home. Unbelievable. This blew us away. So
and to think that they're a niche that none of us would have considered, but there would be hundreds, if not thousands, of those niches out there in Australia. Like to think globally, too scary. We'll keep moving because we've only got a little window and we don't want to make this a half-hour episode, my friend. We've got some orgs that are showing great impact, Fierce Females and Kintsugi Heroes. Can you talk to those, please? I'm not.
Two unbelievable. That Kintsugi Heroes has been on our platform a little while. Fierce Females have just joined and they're so exuberant about that. Really unique. They're a not-for-profit, quasi gym training environment that they do things to help those women get empowered again through training. So fantastic, full gym setup and all that sort of stuff. So big shout out to them. They're making a great deal of difference to re-encourage and create that confidence again in that sector.
Fitness and fierceness, they come together, don't they? Feel good about yourself.
They do. Yeah, it's a bit scary. You don't want to walk in there by yourself. But no, they're awesome, and really look forward to seeing them continue to grow. Kintsugi Heroes is a wonderful organisation about storytelling, and we all talk about storytelling. I mean, we're telling a story now, right? But Ian and the team at Kintsugi, they really focus on those things that truly motivate us. They put those out, do a number of series and talks and conversations, and a new book coming out now that Ian was really excited about. So a big shout out to those guys that are. They're really at the ground level, Smithy, helping out the individual with a bigger position and a bigger perspective. So
we know storytelling.
Keep up that fantastic work.
It's important for orgs raising money, fundraising, all those things. Storytelling is critical. So if you don't have the information and you're not capturing the information, you can't tell the stories, right? So
sure.
We had a few little pieces in the newsletter around Spotlight that we try to put on, things that have happened for us and or the community. We had our recent webinar series for National Volunteer Week, which went off very well. We had a couple of windows there where we got to talk to a whole vast range of volunteer organisations and key volunteers in those orgs. The big highlights that I feel came out the back of that, my friend, was that we have a new app coming.
They're officially announced launch date as well. Thanks,
well, yeah, 1st of July. Here we go. That's a technologist trying to announce a launch date, scared shitless, excuse the language, because we all know what technologies like to build. But the good thing is we've learned a lot now in our initial minimum viable product, which is what our volunteer orgs are using out there. Big changes, some awesome big wins to be had for orgs. We're going to become the org volunteer app for anyone that sits there in a volunteer-involved organisation that has to manage a whole range of volunteer activities, volunteer time, support them, make them feel encouraged, all those sorts of things. And it's going to never be charged directly to the organisation for the functionality we look to deliver. We expect the network to come to the table. And when we say we never charge, the example we gave earlier where an org can give something of value, we can't look at that like a charge rate. It's not a cash charge rate. It's a value proposition that grows the network. So that's what we're all about, is growing the network, expanding, and we need everyone's help to do that. And that's why V2 encompasses a whole range of special features. The big ticket items are multi-org hours for a volunteer, huge. Most volunteers we target at least serve 1 to maybe 3 organisations. And then the ability to, like for multi-birth, is to spread out the community into small baskets, but also allow for aggregation of information up into the primary entity, whether that be a big Salvo Army or a Red Cross or multi-birth. There's lots of organisations that have what we call geographically bound clubs, units, teams, whatever. Have I missed something on the app?
The extra
bring
page.
Bring it home, mate. Please.
What you'll see, for starters, the non-technologist, it's still really, really simple to use. It's probably even easier to use than the current app for all the volunteers out there. So don't get overwhelmed with the fact that it's going to be new and more complicated. It's not. We've simplified the process, and that's all based on your feedback, and we really appreciate It's one of the things that Courtney and I have not a laugh about, but we are just perpetually surprised that our volunteers communicate with us. If there's an issue with the app or there's an issue with something, we get emails, we get the chat online, which is terrific. Instead of just have that whole process of, it doesn't work, so I'll forget about it. So continue to communicate with us. If you've got ideas and all those things, we love it, and we can continue to grow. But the bit that we launched as well at the webinar, Smithy, the exciting part was the extra page in our marketplace for the first ever in the world volunteer time auction platform, where we're really excited about our local business community and national sponsors being able to bring product to that. We're doing it on an auction basis to make it fair and equitable for everybody. You'll get more information about how you qualify for those, but especially from the org's point of view, a great way to be able to acquire goods and services that you can use for fundraising or for practical application in your org. So we're trying to do everything we can. We think it'll be a real blast for everyone to have a crack. So again, we encourage you to send us your ideas and what sort of things you'd like to be able to use your time to bid on. But it's the first, I want to stress, it's not a money auction. It's a volunteer time auction, and it's specifically for our volunteer audience. Can't get in if you're not a volunteer, and you can't get into the big stuff, the big ticket, as they call them, the big ticket items, unless you're an org. So really excited about that, and we're really excited about getting your feedback on that. And I think Smithy alluded that we're going to do a first flash auction coming up, just so everyone can get a little taste. We have a monster auction planned.
And you'll note that I had my face screwed a little bit then, as I'd pre-warned my kids not to walk in through the studio. But guess what? It's life, isn't it? Running from home. Hey.
Yeah,
anyway, we'll move on. The big ones were that we had attendance, thanks to the generous invites of Queensland Volunteering and Gold Coast City Council, 2 events that you got along to, being up that way.
Yeah, look, I think again, it's one of the things that we get to a point of saying, well, we must be doing okay. We're not a volunteer organisation. We are you, and we support everything that volunteers do. But as a bona fide NFP org, we're not. So to get an invite to these things that are 100% volunteer organisation driven is really exciting for us. So yeah, I had the fortune of going to the Queensland Volunteer Awards, epic. The Brisbane Town Hall was great. We had the governor of Queensland turn up to do an address there, and when you look at the representation in that room of the peak of everybody, again, I think that there is, like 1.2 million people, 1.2 million volunteers.
Why don't you come in and say hello? Oh, here he is. Where are you off to, mate? Buddy. Okay, well, off to the club. Go and have fun. And au revoir. Remember I said I was doing a little presentation here, buddy? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, here you go.
See you,
Go. See ya, dude.
See you later.
There's your 15. There's your 15 seconds of fame. You
There's
go.
your 15 seconds of fame. Sorry, everyone out there, but as I said, we are you, right? Off
We
to
are.
the club. Yeah.
So that was exciting, Smithy, to be able to go to both. Like I said, the town hall was epic. It was really funny. As we walked out, the governor's car was parked out the front, and I turned to a whole group of volunteers that were following us out, and I go, "Oh, listen, if anyone wants to chip in and go halves with my Uber, they ordered an Uber for directly anyway." Gold Coast City Council offered us an invitation to come to their thank you breakfast as well, so that was great. So big shout out to Marie and the rest of the team there. That was an awesome job. We had the luxury of having a guest pass to the Renaissance Live, which is an unbelievable art show. If you ever get a chance to see it, go and have a look.
If we keep going, mate, no one's going to need to read the newsletter or look at the stuff because we've.
I know, right? Anyway, I'll be quiet.
We're going to cut it now. We're going to dial in. Not to be missed, barbecue giveaway for an org that came off the back of the webinar. It's pretty easy. You got to join. You got to have volunteers on the platform. You got to do some hours. It's not laborious. Ideally, a shout out to us in one of your socials and to join our new Facebook community page, which is a group that we're building to give us feedback loop on what people out there in volunteer land would like to see in our platform and from us, but also to just carry a conversation about how things are happening, what's happening out there, and just tips and tricks with people that are in the seat doing the same stuff. This massive auction at the end of the year is going to be just like nothing else. So keep your eyes posted on our socials, please. Really important. And then, of course, our way of building our marketplace is to get a whole range of volunteers on board. We know volunteers sit in the business community. They sit in organisations, multiple organisations. So your assistance to help us grow this wonderful network will only assist in making sure that we can recognise, inspire and reward more volunteers across Australia and globally. Sure.
That is epic. Good roundup.
Thank you very much. 18 minutes. You have yourself a lovely day, buddy. And
you too, man.
Out there, thank you so much for your efforts and your work. We are watching you.
Thanks for being awesome. Enjoy the newsletter, and we'll talk to you as soon as we can.
Will do. See you, mate.